This is The Brief on Newsfirst Digital.
A very good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Brief live on Facebook. We are coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Mahina Bongso, sitting in for your regular host for the show. That's Ramesh Irugal Bandara. We'll be taking a look at some of the main stories that have been trending on our website. That's www.newsfirst.lk. So let's get down to it. Well, we start off the news bulletin on a somber note because there has been a wave of crimes that have taken place in the country over the past 24 hours, ranging from the Central Highlands to the Western Province in the country. We start off in the Central Highlands, where we receive reports of a 30-year-old woman who was murdered and her body dumped in a canal along the Hatton-Bhagawantalava route. Now, police say that the woman had been murdered and she had been dumped into the canal, and the Norwood police is conducting further investigations to nab the perpetrators of this incident. Now, moving on to Hunupitia, there was also a crime that was reported from Hunupitia today, and that was the death of a three-wheel driver. Now, the three-wheel driver's body was found inside the three-wheeler in Hunupitia, a kilometer away from where they believe the incident to have occurred. Now, according to the police, the three-wheel driver was hacked to death with a sharp weapon and his body dumped inside the three-wheeler, and where it was found this morning. Now, a three-wheeler driver was residing in the area of Nahena Watta in Hunupitia, and he was hacked to death by a sharp weapon. He was a 40-year-old individual, and his body was found in a three-wheeler a kilometer away from his house. Further investigations are ongoing in that case as well. Also, a very shocking case in the Sri Lankan entertainment industry, where famous Sinhala singer that is, by the name of Priyani Jayasinghe, was found dead in her home in Panadura last night. The police suspect that her husband may have murdered her and then fled the scene of the crime. According to the police, there has been reports of domestic arguments and disputes between the husband and wife, which has resulted maybe in this killing of singer Priyani Jayasinghe, who was hacked to death in her home in Panadura. So, very sad day for the entertainment industry in Sri Lanka as it loses a very talented singer in Priyani Jayasinghe. In a news reported from close to where our news studios are operating, and that is in C Street in Colombo 11, the life of a local government politician was claimed today in a shootout that took place at around 7:45 a.m. this morning in the area down C Street, Colombo 11. The victim was Krishna Pillai Girubanandan. He was the leader of the Navodaya People's Front, and he was killed in this shooting that took place this morning. Now, according to the police, the victim had served as an independent councillor at the Colombo Municipal Council, and he passed away upon admission to the Colombo National Hospital. Moving away from the wave of crimes that were reported in the country over the past 24 hours to the economy of the country. Now, as you may know, there has been reports that have been surfacing and also trending on social media, like on Facebook, where Sri Lankan citizens who own vehicles and motorcycles are now should pay taxes for owning these vehicles. And according to the Commissioner of the Inland Revenue Department, Ivan Dissanayake, he has stated that vehicle and motorcycle owners would have the capacity to pay taxes. And why is that? And that is because these owners have the capacity to maintain their vehicles, to maintain fuel charges for their vehicles, and also insurance charges. Furthermore, Mr. Dissanayake goes on to say that Sri Lankans who have the capacity to travel overseas on foreign trips and excursions also have the capacity to pay taxes, and therefore should do their civic duty by coming forward and registering themselves as taxpayers. Now, let me take a look at, let me actually read out to you the exact statement of Commissioner Dissanayake. He says, the Inland Revenue Department has currently created interrelationships with 32 organizations, and according to the information obtained by those organizations, if we are informed that you are in a position, that is you, those who are watching this bulletin as well, are in a position to pay tax and take steps to open new tax papers for you, we would be carrying out investigations on the sources of income belonging to those people. So they are prepared to carry out investigations into the sources of income to see whether people can register themselves as taxpayers if they do own a vehicle or two, and also if they are able to travel overseas on foreign excursions. Now let's take a look at the other side of the coin. What does the opposition have to say about this new sort of regulation that is being brought forward? Now, parliamentarian Rohita Abegunawardena of the joint opposition says that people should be paying taxes only if the economy of the country is doing well. And currently, the economy is not doing well. He says that Sri Lanka is a different case. The dollar has depreciated by 162 rupees, enterprises are running at a loss, and loan installments cannot be paid. There's a heavy debt burden on the public. So people are facing difficulties in going about their regular day-to-day lives and also fulfilling their basic needs. So how can people be expected to pay these taxes or register themselves as taxpayers when the economy isn't really helping people to fulfill their basic needs? He says that taxes, that people should be allowed to pay taxes depending on the tax policies and the tax increments of a country, and it should be constructed in such a way that people would be able to benefit from the revenue gain through taxes. So basic argument is, why are you going to pay taxes if you are not benefiting from the taxes that you are paying? So that is the bottom line of the joint opposition's argument against this new sort of regulation that is trying to be rolled out by the Inland Revenue Department, where vehicle owners and those who have the capacity to travel overseas have to register themselves as taxpayers. It's interesting to see how that would work out in the future. Moving on to another story that has been trending on our website, that's www.newsfirst.lk. That's stories that are of interest to you. That's why it's trending on our website. So this is another story that's made the headlines anyway across Sri Lanka, and that is the arrest of a Pakistani individual who was arrested today at the Bandaranaike International Airport because he was carrying with him heroin worth over rupees 50 million. He was smuggling the heroin into the country, 4.186 kilograms of heroin into the country from Lahore, Pakistan. He arrived in Sri Lanka this morning at 7:30 from Lahore, and he was carrying this stash of heroin in his traveling bag. So police, of course, nabbed him at the Bandaranaike International Airport and, of course, confiscated the stash of heroin. Now, meanwhile, a stock of drugs was also confiscated at a house in Alpitia. The police raided this house based on a tip-off from area residents, and the 3 suspects were arrested, and they are due to be produced before the Alpitia Magistrates Court, and the suspects are residents of Mount Lavinia. Moving on in more local news. Now, this is a statement by the Minister of Agriculture. He says that it will be good if Arjuna Mahendran, the former central bank governor who is currently in Singapore, is brought back to the country. He says, no matter what, we won't allow him to escape. He says that is a specialty of this government and the president. The first suspect of a corruption case during the tenure of this government is already in custody. The rich and those who aided in this will not be allowed to roam free. We will bring him back for sure. It will be better if he is brought back. Now, Minister Mahinda Amaravira made this statement while he was talking to some journalists during an inspection of a mango plantation that was underway in the country, and he did say that measures will be taken to bring former governor of the central bank, who is a chief suspect in the central bank bond scam, back to the island from Singapore. And finally, in local news, another tragic incident, and that was when 77 people were left injured following an accident between 2 private buses in the Gokarala Malsiripura area. Now, 64 of the injured are receiving treatment at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital. 3 of them are in serious condition, according to the hospital's acting director. 18 are receiving treatment for minor injuries. There has been no casualties reported from this incident so far. 13 more are receiving treatment at the Gokral hospital, and sources say that their condition is not serious. News First is, of course, monitoring this story and will bring you any developments as and when we receive it. And finally, in international news, now this is a story that's been making the headlines globally. There's a lot of media attention focused in the Asia-Pacific region and mainly in Thailand. And why is that? I'm sure you know about it. It's all over Facebook and on social media as well. And that is because rescue operations have commenced to rescue the football team, the boys of local football team in Thailand who are trapped in a cave in the hills, in the hill area of northern Thailand. They've been in that cave for the past 11 days, and rescue operations began yesterday. 4 boys were rescued yesterday from this cave, while today another boy was rescued. According to sources in the area, there were visuals of a boy who was wrapped in a green blanket being brought, and he was lying flat. We still do not know the condition of this boy. But why is this rescue operation getting the attention of the media? The main issue here is the cave system where these boys and their soccer coach have been for the past 11 days. The cave system in the hills of Thailand is a very treacherous one, and with the weather condition, with continuous rain, because it's the inter-monsoon season in Bangkok, because of the continuous rain, rescue operations to get these boys out of this cave is becoming very challenging. There have been divers from all over the world, around 40 divers from countries like the US, the UK, from China, from Australia. 40 Navy SEALs from these countries have flown into Bangkok to volunteer to rescue these boys through navigating the challenging conditions with zero visibility inside the cave, and also with the various dips inside the cave to try and reach these boys. They are, of course, working with the Navy SEALs in Thailand to rescue these boys. The operation took a negative turn when one of the Navy SEALs actually died while transporting oxygen to and from the boys. So that kind of goes to show the dangerous situation that the operation is taking place in. Of course, News First is following this story, just like all the media stations out there, international media stations. We too are following this story to see whether all boys who were trapped inside the cave, who had no experience in swimming, no experience in diving, had to be given a crash course in diving to get them out of these caves, actually make it out alive. Because all these boys are between 11 to 16 years of age, while their coach is only 25 years of age. Well, that's a wrap of the brief. Hope you enjoyed the brief today with me, Mahina Bongso, sitting in for your regular host, Ramesh Bandara. Hopefully, Ramesh will be able to join you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, keep on the lookout for our Facebook page, and also keep reading the stories that's on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. And obviously in social media, it's always a two-way process. So we'd like to hear from you. Send us your comments on how we can improve the show and what you like to see on this show today, because it's all about you at the end of the day. Thank you very much for joining us again. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.